Welcome back to Victory Business School, School of Business. This is session 3. Very excited about this. This is one of my favorite topics, sales, marketing, and branding. Let's go. So here we go. Session 3, sales, marketing, and branding. So first of all, we're looking at your message, telling your brand story. What is it that you're saying? For me, I would always talk about where it all started. So my message when someone was like, how did you get into what you do? I was like, well, I was doing lots of different things. And then I know that I needed to focus. And I was just like, Lord, which one do I focus on? I've got this that's working, this that's working, that's working. And then the message that I could just feel in my spirit was just consistency. What's been the most consistent? What's been the most consistent? Everything that I was doing, I'd do a website, I'd get a lot of money for that, and then it would be nothing for a while, and I'd do another one, and everything was like, yeah, a bit of this, a bit, everything read like an ECG. But there were one of the things that I was doing, I was really consistent, and it was these little clergy dresses that I was doing. So it wasn't loads, it wasn't little, it was just consistent, very consistent. And the feeling was what's been the most consistent. So then I was like, it was these clergy dresses. So I had to shut everything else down, which was a really hard decision because it was kind of saying no to instant cash, instant gratification. And I was like, if this is what I believe that God is saying, then I need to take my faith and put it into action and actually step out on this water of uncertainty and just pray that this is the way I'm meant to go. So I focused on the clergy dresses, turned down loads of work and just poured all my energy into these dresses. And I'd gone into manufacturing. I had loads of them made, and I did all the photography and had the press releases and everything ready, like, let's go. And then crickets. Nothing happened. I was expecting all these orders and nothing. And I had one phone call one day, and she had asked me for a press release and pictures, which I had. So I sent them on. And then I get a call and this lady saying, oh, just checking my order. I was like, yep, no problem. Just checking that for you. How did you hear about House of Valonia? And she was like, in the Guardian, massive newspaper. And I was like, sure, no problem. All right, thanks, bye. Oh my goodness. And it was in the Guardian, the Telegram, the Telegraph, the Times. It was in the Washington Post, the Huffington. It was just everywhere because it was Easter time. So it was a great news story. These clergy dresses, clergy designer from England, and things just took off. And so that's a story that I love to share about the brand. It talks about me. It talks about my passion. It gives some keys to business and business skills and focusing on what you're doing on business. And it shares some of my brand story. And so what is your brand story? What story are you telling? And people often connect with why you started. What was it about this business? What is the reason you started? So tell your brand story, your passion. I know that Mike, for example, went through burnout and he experienced that and he wrote the book about burnout and now he helps people with that. That's my pain. That's my story. That's what I went through. And now I go on to share and I've written about it and I consult and I teach and I speak and I do workshops. And so again, this is my brand story, where it's coming from. This isn't just come out of nowhere, but actually this is what a pain, a thing that I went through, and now I help others. What is the look? So again, we're talking about Mike. His book is black, white, and there's a hint of red. And so this brand looks black, white, and red with fire because it was about burnout. It was about the flame. It was about what I went through. And now I'm on fire with this message. And so what is the look and the feel of your brand? Think about your clientele. Think about the colors. Think about what it's similar to. What sort of brand is it on the high street? Would it be the Gucci, or would it be a River Island? Would it be a Zara? Would it be a Prime? Where are you? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Is it a strong tone? Is it really to the point, or is it a softer, more flowery kind of message to bring people on board? Is it a message of self-care and love? And what is your sound? What is your story? What is the look? What is the voice? What is the tone? Pitch it right to your audience. How do they sound? And there's a power of mirroring. So we have this tone, and so there's a back and forth conversation, because even though I'm maybe on a live and I'm selling my product, I'm actually speaking in a way that resonates with my client. I'm also speaking in a way that if you're not my client, you're going to keep scrolling, which is perfect because you're not my target audience. But the person that I am speaking to, it resonates with them. It connects with them. It connects deeply. You're like, why are you all up in my business? How do you know this about me? Because I'm speaking in the voice and in the tone that resonates and that gets your heart, that connects with you, because there's a connection here. And the deeper that I go, the more I refine the message, the look, the sound, the tone. I'm drawing more and more and more of my audience and my people to me. I'm drawing them to the product, the brand, the service, the idea. I'm drawing them. But I'm also repelling people that are just like, it just doesn't, I just don't know what it is. Great. And that can be hard because often when we're in business, we're like, it's for everybody. It's not. Potentially it could be, but you really want to focus on an audience, and that's the real power of niching. And I felt like, especially when I was really focusing in on women's clergy, like I had women's fashion, which is, the fashion industry, but then you've got men, you've got women. So I've got half of the fashion industry, and then I niched down even tinier to women's clergy. But there is power in finding a niche. There's power on honing in on an audience. And it can just feel like, but I'm missing out on everyone else. But the really interesting thing is that everyone else sees you. And so what I had was everyone else could see. They weren't my audience, but they could still see and hear. They still loved the tone and the feel, and they're like, okay, I'm not in ministry, but if I was, I'd shop with you. And so then what that did is that opened things up to the women in the church and the women in the workplace who go to the church, and women who aren't necessarily in ministry and don't necessarily wear a collar. But I've now got an even bigger audience of women who at some point are now saying, Camille, well, what about us? We want to look good too. And so it then begins to open things up, but it starts with a really powerful niche: message, look, voice, and tone. And then you start to think about delivery, and delivering with authenticity, with a dash of vulnerability in there as well, because that vulnerability is what connects you to the audience. It what connects heart to heart. Oh, you've been through that. I've been through that too. And so I could say to the woman that I was designing for, I know what it's like when you maybe gain a few pounds, but you have to stand in front of the audience and you're vulnerable. I know what it's like when this and when that. And when I can share a dash of that vulnerability from me, she feels like she can trust me more. And people love to do business with who they know, like, and trust. Think about the timing and understanding the cadence of the season. So what season is my client in right now? I know for me, Easter was our biggest time of year, for example, when it came to women's clergy, because a lot of women in my client base would be in their collars on Easter Sunday. So again, thinking about the season, as things start to get busier, as things get quieter, think about the cadence of the season and the timing that people are in. And then think about your social media, your website, your visibility and accessibility, and the consistency throughout it. So let's talk about the journaling prompts for this session. What is your message? You really want to start to think about and define what your message is. What are your kind of key headlines? What is it that you're saying to your audience? What is your deeper message that you're trying to pull through? Not just buy my stuff, but what is the message? What's important? What's important to them? What is it that you want to give them? Not just what you're offering, but the deeper reason for what it is that you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're offering what you're offering, why you're pouring your life's work into this. Why are you doing this? And what is the message that you want to bring across to them? What's the look and the feel of your brand? Again, making sure it's in line with your message. It's in line with your audience. It's in line with who they are and what they're about. And what is the tone of voice that's needed? So again, just some of the things that we've already talked about. How does that relate to you and your brand, your tone, the sound, the feel? Also, what's your preferred method of delivery? Again, if you're more delivering to a corporate space, LinkedIn is the place that you need to be. You need to be where the businesses are, the B2B world. If you're in the corporate space, if it's young people, TikTok, that could be the ideal. Instagram, Reels, Stories, and even the shorts on YouTube. Think about your audience. Think about where they consume what they consume. Does it need to be in print magazine? Like where is it that you need to be? Again, think about the ideal method of delivery for your ideal target audience. When will you start sending messages, and with what frequency? For example, I shared in my business, what I used to do was send it on a Monday, because I know that my clients have been preaching all weekend and Monday is their day off. So that's when I've got a captive audience. And then I took it further and I would do a live on a Monday, and we'll call it Ministry Monday meetups. And they would expect it every first Monday. And then we did every first and third Monday. So again, tap into the need. And as you go, as you again grow organically, as you test things out and it works, do more. If you test it, it doesn't work, okay, let's reconfigure. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's try something different. Test the frequency, test the method of delivery. So you test, you try, you test. So keep testing, keep going. When you find something that works, keep doing it, and then continue the frequency and monitor it as well. We'll get more into KPIs in the next session, but pick something that's working and keep going. What season is your ideal client in? So again, thinking about the time of year, thinking about their age and stage. Are they empty nesters? You know, are they at that stage of the journey? Are they new parents? Are they, just coming out of college or university? What season are they in? And what does that look like for them, in their friend circles, in their family dynamics, in the church? What does that look like? How does that feel for them? And what are your social media handles and your website? And is there brand consistency across all platforms? So when I go to your Instagram and I'm there and I'm scrolling, and then I go into your TikTok, and then I go into your Facebook, am I in a completely different world? Because I'm like, who is this person? It's totally different from what I saw over there. So is there consistency across your brand, across all the platforms? And finally, homework. Make a brand board. What is the look and feel of your brand? Let it tell your story, past, present, and future. This is where I've been. This is where I am right now. And this is where we're going in the future. Again, cast the vision, write the vision, make it plain. God gave Abraham a vision board. He said, and he was in the desert. When Abraham was in the desert, God said, your descendants will be as the stars. And in night at the desert, he looks up. What does he see? Thousands and thousands of stars. And then he said, your descendants will be like the sand in the daytime. What does he see? Millions and billions of grains of sand. And every night, every day, every night, that was a vision board. He could see it. He could see where he was going. He could see the future. He could see that he is going to be the father of many nations, and God cast the vision before him. So get some pictures that resonate with you on a vision board. One of the things that I said is one day I'm going to write a book. And there was this beautiful picture of this mustard chair. It was this beautiful mustard armchair by a window. It looked like it was a hotel room or something, with a lovely little table overlooking like Venice or something. So it was like there was water outside, but it was kind of up high, and it was like a city kind of vibe. And that picture of that single chair with that coffee table by the window overlooking the water was on my vision board. No one else understood what that meant unless I explained it. But for me, that picture represented me writing my first book. And I remember going to my friend's house. She had just bought a new house in Cardiff, and we had gone over there for a girly weekend, and I got up really early and I was down on my laptop and I was writing, because I was writing my first book, Finding Divine Flow, and I'm writing, and because I looked around and I'm sitting on this mustard chair, and there's mustard decor around, and there's this big window by her back garden, and it's right there, and there's a coffee table. And I just stopped and I took a picture, because this is the vision of my vision board. And here I am writing my first book, and now I'm many books down the line, but it's the power of vision. So again, vision board, write the vision, make it plain. This has been session 2. Thank you.